Hello everyone, how are you? Today is December 27th and I'm back in town after my short Christmas hiatus. If you're wondering why I wasn't responding to my comments or emails or anything like that in these past few days, or why I didn't stream, then you need to go down to the description section right now and follow me on Twitter because you are completely out of the loop. But anyway, my creative juices have been revitalized, so why not another one of these types of videos. So the other day I published a Lucio VOD review that some people didn't really like, and I think it's because of how it was a bit different from most of my other reviews. The reason it was different is because most of my other reviews are not master tier players, like in the Lucio VOD. This is something I've never really thought to explain, but it's very important for improving in Overwatch, or anything really. See, I focus on different types of things depending on the skill level of the player I'm reviewing, because your skill level matters when it comes to what you should be learning and what perspective you should be taking. Beginners should be focusing on big, broad concepts. As a player improves, the things they learn should become more specific. Interestingly enough, I find that a lot of times players get this backwards. Beginners worry too much about the nitpicky details, and advanced players sometimes worry too much about the big picture. So let's go over what you should be focusing on depending on your skill rating in Overwatch. Let's start in Bronze. In Bronze, players should focus on the basic building blocks. Definitions. Here are some easy examples. What is a support? What's a push? What is a flank? Just, awareness of what makes up the game. Almost all players I see that are stuck in Bronze, almost all of them, or any of the other ratings below, Diamond, are stuck there because they're overcomplicating things. They watch pro matches and they listen to the analysis and the analysts. They talk about this elaborate stuff with diagrams and essays and blah, 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 blah. And then they get into a match and they get frustrated because it has no application to their own gameplay or to their Bronze teammates' gameplay. You won't get out of Bronze with any of that. Not because those things don't work in Bronze, that's a misconception I see a lot, but because those things don't work for a Bronze player. Obviously, if a Masters player goes into a Bronze game and applies Masters tactics, they will do very well, but that's because they are a Masters player, not a Bronze player. So, like I said, basics. In Bronze, the only thing you need to do is to be able to identify what is happening in the game. What's a push? Well, that's when your team goes and attacks the other team in some sort of togethery fashion. What's a flank? That's when a hero goes around and attacks from the side to distract the enemy from a push. Just stuff like that. Once you can identify simple game states like, oh, they're pushing right now, or he's flanking, you're ready to get out of Bronze. As far as aim goes, again, basics. Move your crosshair and click on them. Forget headshots, forget trying to be Taimu and flicking all over 360. Just move and click. I go over that in my aiming video, and that has gotten an absolutely massive positive response from players, and it's because it teaches them the proper way, the basics, from the beginning. And that's what I'm going over right now. Okay, so next is Silver. Now you can move into the hows. I'll stick with the flank example for this entire thing. So when you know what a flank is, in Silver you should now be developing how to flank in a basic sense. This is obviously hero and map specific, but take an example of Genji on Temple of Anubis. There are a limited number of flanking routes you can actually take, so discover what they are. Whether you go into the map and experiment yourself, or you watch videos on the flanking routes, a Silver player should simply be learning the specific routes that certain heroes take on certain maps to flank. Next, in Gold, we get more specific still. Here we learn methods, what makes a good flank. You know what a flank is and how to do one in a basic sense, but what differentiates good flanks from bad flanks? Well, there's things like you can focus the support first, come up with a target priority list, some different ways you can enter the fight more safely, going in fast with a dash or slowly walking up, being sneaky, that sort of thing. Now, Platinum. Here is where a lot of players get hopelessly stuck, along with low Diamond, because you can't cheat your way out of this level. And I don't mean hacks. In Bronze, Silver, Gold, you can sort of cheat yourself out by just having good aim or knowing one good cheesy tactic. But once you get to Plat and Diamond, if you haven't developed a good base in the things I just went over, you're going to be stuck. Not only that, but it's going to be a steep learning curve out because of all the catching up, all the basics you have to learn, all the stuff you have to do. But if you have the correct base, Platinum is where you start to get into the other, I guess you could say, meta factors. What's a good time to flank? How long before my team pushes do I have to flank in order to be effective? And from there, we keep going. In Diamond, you'd start looking into what specific angles to take against certain team compositions, and how you can change your play depending on a number of allied and enemy factors. In Masters, maybe start learning the special pathing tricks and small, tiny optimizations to shave a couple seconds off of your flanks. Or, reload cancels to slightly optimize how fast you can do certain actions. Finally, in Grandmaster, you'd be looking at things like the consistency of where you sit in the chair, the type of mouse pad, the exact specifics of how DPI works and input lag and fixing your aim on specific angles you tend to have an issue with. Now, notice that a lot of that stuff I just said just now are things that are really hyped up, pixel skipping, DPI, blah, blah, blah. They're really hyped up issues that everyone asks about all the time. And that's why I always kind of sigh whenever most players ask me about stuff like that. Sure, it's not like it hurts you necessarily. It doesn't hurt you to address that type of stuff if you're in gold, but it's pretty much a complete waste of time, and it won't help you at all. And chances are, as you improve, those optimizations you spent all that time doing when you were in gold will just become outdated when you're in platinum, because you're going to have a completely different sense of how the game works. And you're going to have to keep updating them as you gain more understanding, because there isn't just one right answer. Meanwhile, I see a lot of high-skilled players focusing too much on the big picture, when I can point out things like, hey man, you're literally aiming at a blank wall right here in the clip. Your aim sucks. Your crosshair placement sucks. And those little things would improve their game a lot more than going over all these big picture things that I talked about before. Because chances are they already have a pretty good understanding of the basics, and they don't have very much to improve there, but their mechanics, those little details, those can improve a lot when you're at that high level. So that is why the Masters review I did the other day focused on some stranger, nitpickier things that you wouldn't see in other VODs. That's because that player was trying to push to go to Grandmaster. Those are the types of things that would benefit him the most. If he was in Silver, I'd be focusing more on the big picture things like general positioning, when to crossfade, those sorts of things. So keep all this stuff in mind the next time you watch a VOD review from me, and I'll be making sure that I put more of an effort into pointing out why I focus on certain things in my VOD reviews in the future. Actually, speaking of VOD reviews, I wasn't here to stream this Saturday, so we are backed up. I mean, holy crap, my email box. That's right, I have a ton in my inbox, and I don't want to leave them all high and dry. That would actually just make me I feel very bad when I just have a VOD review sitting in my email. I'm not going to lie. So I might have some sort of VOD review extravaganza or something like that this weekend, and just stream a lot, maybe multiple days, and just get through them all. So more details on that to come. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the learning curve in Overwatch. Do you think I got it right, or do you have another idea? Well, like if you liked it, which I hope you did, stay positive, and have a great day. Peace out, guys.